Hello, I'm Mike from musicradiocreative.com. In this part 4 of a 5-part series on how to put together a podcast intro, I'm going to show you how to mix the voiceover to match the music bed and effects. I'll need my headphones for this one. So let's head into Adobe Audition and take a look at what we've got so far. This is your podcast name here. Okay, so I'm just going to edit that up now to make the voiceover match to the music bed a little bit better and a little bit kind of neater and tidier, if you like. Okay, I think I'm going to drag that out a bit. This is your podcast. Okay, and I might use the time stretching just to stretch this out a bit. This is your podcast name here. And let's change that a little bit, move that back a bit. Your podcast name here. Okay, now, with the long intro, I could choose to do something a little bit interesting. For instance, I could copy this and just have it coming in as a kind of stereo stutter before the actual real this does actually appear at the start of the podcast intro. So I'm going to do that now very quickly and see exactly how this sounds, by panning it left and right and all over the place and see what we end up with in the end. Maybe bring the volume down just a tad as well so that it's not overpowering and it starts to slowly fade in as the podcast intro starts. Let's have a listen. This is your podcast name here. And then I'm going to go on to the next track where I'll have here the podcast about this. Just get the topics on beat. Cast about this, that. Put that on the beat there. That. And then finally that little bit goes in there. That and the other. And you notice there's a nice gap there in the music, which is fantastic. And then we'll bring in this. And now, here's your host. And again, we're going to have a nice gap again. Host Mike. And then we'll move that on to the final vocal effect track that I created earlier on. Mike Russell. And we probably want to end there with some impact, so I might chop down that bed in size and drag that in. And let's listen to what we can end up with here. Okay, let's pull that in, making sure the beats are matched nicely there in the multi-track. Mike Russell. And there is your basic podcast intro, but there is a 5th part, and in the 5th part, we'll add the polish to that podcast intro. If you'd like to download the finished podcast intro for Adobe Audition and play with it yourself, just click the link in the description to this video.